May I help you?
Hi, Irma. This is Andre.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I wanted to call in regards to my recent open records request dealing with RENE SOLIS.
I sent an email. You didn't get a response?
I did. No, I got it. That's why I'm calling.
Oh, okay.
Now, this has been an ongoing issue over the past, few years that I've been dealing with you guys at the sheriff's office, which obviously means the attorney's office gets involved. But basically, there's well-established case law here in the state of Texas. I looked up the case, and I brought it up to Mr. Navarez before a couple of years ago. And you guys basically, the point I'm trying to make is you guys are allowed to withhold the vast majority of information from an ongoing criminal investigation. But there's certain information that's been declared by the courts here in the state as being considered basic information that has to be released. And so that's the information that I need to get from you guys.
Okay, so that basic report that you're talking about, this case involves a juvenile, and so at that point we did not release anything. Yeah,
but here's the thing. I'm not asking for information about the juvenile, and I did see that portion of the letter that I received from you. I guess it was yesterday you emailed me, or maybe 2 days ago. But anyway, I understand what you're saying, and I saw that portion of the letter. But I'm not asking for any information about any juvenile victim. I'm asking for basic information about the man that was arrested. So that's not going to affect any juvenile victim at all. The person who's arrested, that's the information I need. And that's what is considered basic information that has to be released. And so, for example, the date and time he was arrested, the statute, the criminal statute that he's alleged of violating, the location he was arrested, any vehicle he was driving. It's all lined out by the court. I even have a certain page in the Attorney General's Public Information Handbook that I can turn you guys to so that you don't have to believe a word I say. It's all established. This has been the law since 1976. The court case is called Houston Chronicle Publishing Company versus the City of Houston, Texas. It was chiseled into granite by the courts all the way back then in the 70s. And here we are in 2023, and Mr. Navarez and whatever other lawyers are working with them, they're disingenuously asking for Attorney General opinions about a matter like this, where my grievance, my beef is, okay, I'm not trying to fight you guys on all the investigative stuff or information about juvenile victims or any of that. I'm asking for very basic information, which the courts have already established I'm entitled to and should have already been released to me. So any request for an opinion from the Attorney General about that type of information that's deemed releasable is basically, in my opinion, a stall tactic, where you guys are asking for an opinion that you don't need, because I'm only asking for basic information. All right, you know what? I take it back. I did ask for all written records, but then your response should have been, well, here's the basic information. All the other written records we're going to withhold based on well-established law enforcement exceptions. And, of course, I'd be fine with that because that's the laws. Any ongoing investigation, law enforcement exception applies, which I believe that's Section 552.108 of the Texas Public Information Act. And so all that would be accepted, and I wouldn't be fighting you guys on that. But like I said, there's basic information that you guys have to give me, and this has happened routinely where I ask for a certain case, I don't get the basic information, and then I have to wait weeks and months for the Attorney General to get back to you guys and to me saying, okay, well, he can get the basic information, but that should have already been the case. And I shouldn't have to wait all this time to get that answer, because that case was established decades ago.
So we're going to wait for the AG to make the ruling then?
Okay, that's ridiculous. No, you got to listen to me. That is unacceptable. We can't keep playing this game where we're going to wait for the AG to make the decision. I'm talking about a court case that has been established since 1976. I'm not asking for any of the details about the investigation. There's certain basic information you guys have to release to me immediately about that arrest.
And I think that's outlined in our brief.
which is deliberate stall tactics, because I already have the court case. I've given it to you guys, and I'll give it to you again. The brief that you guys are creating is basically creating a bunch of smoke and mirrors to keep me from obtaining basic information promptly.
Can you respond to in writing? That way we have it in writing.
I'll do that as well, but I wanted to call because, frankly, I've actually submitted recently an open records request on one of my PASO open records requests. People weren't even taking the time to read that. So that's one of the reasons I call now is because, or I'm calling more frequently, is because I'm not even sure if people are taking the time to read what I write, including Mr. Navarez. On my previous open records request, he would type a bunch of stuff saying XYZ happened, and obviously he didn't read anything I wrote because that's not what happened. But that's a whole other can of worms. But that's one of the reasons I'm calling more frequently is because I don't think people are properly reading the things I write on my emails. But yeah, I will follow this up with a written statement about what's required by the law. Now, I believe that the situation we're in here is I need to narrow the scope of the request because obviously you guys are like, oh, well, he can't have all this. It deals with the juvenile victim and it's an ongoing investigation. So I'm going to go ahead and make an official amendment to the request, which narrows the scope specifically to what I've just been ranting about on this phone call, where I'm going to narrow the scope to the specific basic information which is allowed to be released to me that I'm entitled to under established Texas case law from that court case, Houston Chronicle Publishing Company versus the City of Houston, Texas, which is from 1976.
Okay. Perfect.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I said that's fine.
Okay, right.
Okay.
But here's the thing: is that going forward, when I make other, and I'll try to be very, very specific with my future open records request. But going forward, can everybody get on the same page about what I'm talking about here? Because it seems like the records department, if they want to listen to me at all, when I try to explain all this stuff, they say, "Oh, this is all too complicated. You have to talk to the lawyers about that." And I'm thinking, what type of records department is that they don't even want to discuss basic Texas Public Information Act procedures? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get everybody to understand that I'm going to be making more requests like this in the future, and that the response when I make a request about an arrest should always be, okay, well, let's get him the basic information he's entitled to. If there's anything else that we feel might jeopardize an ongoing investigation or, a sensitive subject like a juvenile victim or something, then we'll put in a request for an AG opinion for that. But that's what I'm hoping you guys can start doing, is understanding that certain basic information does have to be released to me.
Okay, and that's a case-by-case, but no, absolutely. Go ahead and send me your email, and that way we'll take a look at it.
Okay, but just to follow up on what you just said, it's specifically not a case-by-case thing. Every single case is what I'm trying to get across to you. Every single case, basic information about any crime or any arrest, basic information about that incident has to be released. It's not case-by-case, is what I'm trying to say. There's a standard uniform procedure that applies to all cases, which is, like I said, the date and time of the arrest, the individual arrested, the location, certain basic things. It doesn't matter what the case is, has to be released. Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so I understand you're a busy lady, ma'am, and I know that you're very patient. Thank you for taking my call today. I'll follow this. I'm sorry?
I said, okay. Well, yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We keep interrupting each other. But, yeah, I'll follow up this phone call with everything in writing. But thanks for taking my call this afternoon. And if you could just let Mr. Navarez and Mr. Madrid know that, just the basic summary of what I'm bringing up here, what my complaints are. And like I said, I'll follow it up in writing.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day.
You too.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.